Louis Slotin and Harry Daghlian.
Oh, yeah.
Were those the 2 guys you were talking about that died during
Oh,
the
yeah.
Manhattan Project?
Louis
So
Slotin.
they were 2 of the most infamous tragedies in early nuclear history, both
Absolutely.
fatally exposed to the Demon Core while they were working on it.
Mhm.
Tell me about the Demon Core and how it sparked the accidents of Daghlian and Slotin.
Well, of course, you had to, build a sphere of plutonium, but to see if that was going to work, you had to test it for activity. In other words, under what conditions would that thing go critical? And you had to make sure it was not gonna go critical when you assemble the thing and that it would go critical when you collapse the bomb. And that was a very, sensitive, adjustment that had to be made. You couldn't really, uh, use a computer program and simulate it. They weren't that accurate. You had to have accuracy of actually measuring the activity of the plutonium, core. And the way to do that is to do it remotely, where you have, a TV camera on the thing and you're looking at it. You have a remotely operable thing. Use a joystick to put the thing together, and you're looking at the dials to see how radioactive it gets when you assemble it. That's the way to do it. But they didn't see the need back then. Uh, it'd be a lot of trouble to do it. Why don't we just do it by hand? So you're supposed to take this sphere of plutonium and approach it with components that would be in the bomb and see if it goes supercritical. Thing is barely subcritical. So you have to make sure that nothing is reflecting neutrons back into it, which make it uh, fission and so on. And if it does so, is it enough to make it run away and get you know uh, melted?
Yeah.
So Slotin, he was a he was a wild man. He always did things that were dangerous. In fact, he worked at Oak Ridge on the X-10 reactor. He worked for KZ Morgan, and Morgan wanted him out of the program. He said, "You've got to get rid of this guy. He's too careless with radiation." Well, he was from Canada and he was a nuclear physicist, and there was a shortage of nuclear physicists. They wanted to not get rid of any of them, so they sent him to Los uh, Alamos, and he worked there, and he would do things that nobody else would do, and that made him valuable. They needed somebody to test this core, and he could do it with his eyes closed. He was a wild man, and so he was training somebody. They didn't want just one guy who could do it. So he's training this fellow, and he slipped with a screwdriver, and the thing dropped too close to a component and went supercritical instantly and bathed them with radiation. The guy he was instructing was standing behind him, and Slotin shielded him from a lot of the radiation. Guy, his name was Grove, I think. He uh, he survived it. He went on to do a lot of work for Castle Bravo testing in the Pacific Ocean. But Slotin died a quick death. It was really bad. Then Daghlian did basically the same thing. And when Daghlian did it, they said, "Huh, we got to change this." The entire procedure went remote, and then and now they don't get anywhere within 3 miles of a assembly, and they do it by remote control with TV cameras.
Mm. They learned their lesson from freestyling with a screwdriver.
Took too long to learn that.
Yeah. What happens to the body during acute radiation poisoning, to the body and the mind? Are you feeling pain right away? Does it start to burn? Do you feel like an overwhelming sensation of some sort, or is it more like the flash happens and you just know you're screwed, and eventually you start to feel the symptoms?
You know you're screwed because you can feel the heat. It
Mm,
the neutron, flux heats up everything in your body. You feel the flash. It only lasts for a second or so, but you know that, "Uh-oh, I've done it." And within an hour, you start throwing up. You can't keep anything down. Uh, your body wants to get rid of everything it can. Only thing it can get rid of is what's in your digestive system, and, that doesn't work. But, you get over it and you start feeling better. Start feeling like this is gonna go away, and then it hits you, and your blood, dies, your bones die, your liver dies, everything dies. The last thing to go is your brain. Your brain is not that sensitive to radiation, but it's sensitive to the effects of, your bloodstream not working and so on. It's not a good way to go. And, of
yeah.
course, your extremities start turning black. First, your fingers and your hands and your forearms and your upper arms and everything, your legs, everything dies.
Yeah, that's I mean, I'd rather just get shot in the face at that point. Like, I would think that if I got the burn where I was exposed to radiation to the point where I knew I was gonna die, you're being kind to yourself by putting a bullet in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's a rough way to go.
it's been thoroughly documented now. We know what happens when you're 3 feet away from
Yeah.
an incident like that.
But at that point, did those guys know the full ramifications of what they were about to go through, or was it still sort of a mystery what would happen if you felt that neutron flash?
They pretty much knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
you can
that's rough.
feel it in your bones, the heat, and you know
Yeah.
that you've been saturated with a huge blast of, radiation,
Yeah.
and your
That's
body has been activated. In other words, ordinarily non-radioactive elements in your body have been made radioactive by, neutron capture. So that's a problem with, a criticality accident. Most of your radiation is in the term and is in, uh, neutrons and, gamma rays.
mm,
The gamma rays, that's like being, burned by the sun, times 100. But the neutrons, that heats up everything in your body instantaneously and causes, radiation to occur days later in your body just by activation.
so if you play with plutonium, you don't turn into the Hulk, is what you're saying.